Hello people, this is the case of murder of Eviana Rauter in Portbou on 4th of September 1990. So I want to give you update on my investigation, what I've discovered, and let me tell you, so for 1 year I firmly believed that the murderers, killers of Eviana Rauter were the Austrian camping group, because it was a kind of a clever trap that the real murderers wanted all the investigators to fall into. You know, it's they counted on what actually happened, that the case was pronounced suicide, but in the eventuality that that there were some suspicious about the murder, then they had set up the Austrian camping group to to accuse them, to make them look very guilty. Anyways, I want to stop now theorizing, talking pure theories, and let's examine some facts of the case. So the first fact of the case is where the Austrian camping group went after they were questioned by the investigators at the Guardia Civil, who's the chief investigator, Jesus Gomez Varela. What happened with the Austrian campers after the two of the camping group, two boys, after they made their declarations in the commissary of Guardia Civil in Portbou, the Austrian campers quickly packed and they left Portbou. Okay, where did they went? They went. If they committed the murder, if they actually committed the murder and were investigated by the police, and then after they were questioned, they were free to go. If they went half a kilometer to the north, they would be in France, so they would be out of the Spanish police jurisdiction, and that would be logical. They already were leaving Portbou. Why not then go to France and go to some coastal town just up north and stay there, or go back to Vienna, whatever. But they didn't do that. They actually went deeper into the Spain. They stay in the jurisdiction of the Spanish police. They went to Sant Pere Pescador, which is a town 40 kilometers south of Portbou. So they were half a kilometer from the France, where they could not be questioned, their van could not be searched, whatever. But they didn't do that. They just went to the Sant Pere Pescador, a town which has a big camping place, and the Austrian group, they knew well Costa Brava, it seems. So they went to the Sant Pere Pescador and they stayed there for a few days. Gomez Varela ordered that they should be monitored from distance to see if they did any suspicious things, and it seems that they didn't. They didn't behave any suspicious, just normal. They were there a few days, and they probably then returned to Vienna. Now, I had this information over half a year ago. I found it in the in the parts of the book of Tura Soler that you can check out for free, some parts of the book that are you can read it, and there it was explained what happened with the campers after they left Portbou, but this was just one source of information, and because Tura Soler in the same part of the book wrote that every Rauter was dressed in white and she was found hanged. Then to me that not mentioning that she was dressed in Texana and in this jeans over top and blue t-shirt and the at some point somebody threw the bed sheet which was the white color with like a kind of pinky, but from distance seemed like white, and then so it seems to me that Tura Soler didn't quite went deep into the details of the case, and as she was the only source of information about where the campers went, that was not reliable enough for me to assume that to take it for sure that the campers stay in this San Pere Pescador, and therefore it would indicate that they would be innocent, because it's you don't plan and perform almost a perfect murder, with no trace. You kidnap someone, you pass 1,000 kilometers, you pass 2 frontiers, and then you come there in the night, and then you do this ritual murder with all these details that are there, and you put that in the night, and you pull that off, and you're off the hook because there's no any evidence of violence, so it was pronounced like a suicide. But then you are that stupid if you are leaving Portbou just out of the being nervous, or just maybe if she was transported that van, fingerprints or whatever, like any other evidences could be scooped from the van, and whatever, like if they went to the north, they would be safe. There is like the Spanish police would be even more limited. In the investigation they couldn't had no ground, no base to detain the Austrians, and 6 people to detain them for days and to question them repeatedly if they don't really have evidence of the murder. But and then once they are in the France, they would be kind of safe from that. Also there was this problem about explaining how could they sleep and stay so close to the body of every Rauter. Why didn't they left? Of course, it was a logic that they should stay there. It would be more smart than do their murder and march out, because they could be spotted on the frontier, with France by the same people that belong to the Portbou commissary, if they just wrote their registration plates and stuff. But still some details didn't really make sense. Okay, so this information was then confirmed by Veronika Frenzel, the German lady journalist from the Stern Crime. So the Stern Crime is like newspaper that focuses on the criminal cases and other stuff, but so they sent Miss Veronica. She went there and she talked to people there in Portbou, and with interview with Tura Soler, Alex Iglesias, Rogelio Lacassi, Gomez Varela, and with the sister, of course. She went to Italy and interviewed extensively Christina Rauter, the sister of Evi, and when she published the article, I found this information about what happened to the campers the days after the 4th of September. So this is this came at the time when I also where I also for a long time was thinking about the disappearance of body of Avi Rauter. Of course, I thought that because the murder of Avi Rauter, with all the ritual murder being performed at the frontier with France, would give the security of Spain a really bad image, especially the Guardia Civil. So I assumed that it would be in their best interest to let it pass like just a normal suicide of some unknown girl. Although it seems to me extreme that the Guardia Civil would come and take out the body of Avi Rauter, either throw it in this fossa comune, in the the big grave with a lot of bodies that were thrown there. It was kind of extreme, and there is evidence in the article in in Portbou-The, where and let me quote you from this article. This article is from 2016, so it was 6 years before Avi Rauter was identified, and there was not much publicity. The case was already quite forgotten. It was Tura Soler who wrote about it. Okay, El Portbou-The is the newspaper. One moment. I have to translate it for Catalan to English. Okay, so this article is written by Tura Soler on 28th of August 2016, El Portbou-The. And the article, if you translate it, attempt to identify the girl hanged in Portbou in 1990. Okay, so the civil guard, Guardia Civil, has requested authorization from the Figueras court to examine the body of the girl who was found hanged on September 4th, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Despite the indisputably humanitarian nature of the civil guard request, judicial police officers have encountered bureaucratic hurdles due to the same complexity of the administration of justice. So they had some administration problems there. Because they moved the archive from the court of Figueras to Girona, and The statements of Narcisse Bardalet, head of Hirona's forensics for several decades, were collected, who explained that they have embalmed the body and that is therefore had to be intact and its genetic profile could be extracted without difficulties. The same report provided a photograph of the Narcisse Bardalet climbing a ladder in front of the niche where the cemetery register states that the unnamed girl is buried, number 134, on the 5th floor of the first department of the Figueres Cemetery. And now they say the first DNA analysis was requested in 2001, and the judge signed the judge of Figueres signed the authorization of exhumation of the body, but the civil Guardia Civil, when they contacted the officials of the cemetery Figueres by phone, they were told that the body of Portbou girl has been thrown into the mass grave. And the Guardia Civil at the time gave up its attempt, thinking that it had exhausted the possibility of naming the girl. And this is the key part of the article. But after seeing the revelations of Narcisse Bardalet, who assures that the body which he embalmed has never touched the niche that was assigned to him, he has encouraged them to try again. At the moment they encounter judicial slowness. So this was 2016. In 2016, Narcisse Bardalet, who the year before went there, and there is a photo of him opening the grave, he said that he assures that the body never touched this tomb, this niche where it was signed. So, the body was never there, never put there. The body was in the freezer, and then it was embalmed, so balsamed, and after that, somewhere in December of 1990, so 3 months after the death of Evi Rauter, the judge of Figueres, he ordered that Evi Rauter was to be put in that tomb, in that niche, and it was never done. And so somebody stole the body of the body disappeared, and it was not the campers Austrian campers who stole the body. Why would somebody stole her body? It's and then we are going to the third and third part of this video, and this is where it all where I will explain all of it. So if you've seen the photos of Evi hanged in the tree, she looks like some exposition. Like it looks like somebody have put her there. The way the body hanged. And I even think that where you tie it up, where you close this texana, this overtop, that she had, that she was wearing. I think that these pieces where you click the dress in place, that this part was bolted into the pine tree to keep her in that position. Now from the photos it cannot be, it's not 100% evidence, but if you look at that, if you look carefully in the photos, it looks like right at this position is where the body is contact. It looks like something here is like installed to keep her in that symmetrical position. It was some kind of ritual. This pine trees was very important for the murderers and for the ritual. So I went to investigate everything I could about this pine tree. Why would this pine tree be special? And of course, then I found the old postcard of Portbou. And when I looked at the old postcard from Portbou and the old photos of Portbou, to my surprise, I found out that the place where pine tree is, there are some structures that looks like some pagan or satanic sanctuary, cemetery, a temple. Like there are some strange statues that are still exist at that place. You can see them, and on the Google Earth you can see them on, if you look carefully, zoom in on the photos of Portbou that were recently made. But of course I read history of Portbou, and this strange statue were never mentioned. They are not like documented as a piece of some antique monuments and stuff. They are just like you can see them on photo, but there you cannot Google, you cannot find out nothing about it, which is kind of strange, because these structures were there before the cemetery was created, because the cemetery was created in the year 1885. The cemetery of Portbou, Portbou, before the year 1870, like 160 years ago, 150 years ago, the Portbou, there were like maybe 15-20 families living there. Half of them were the smugglers who smuggled stuff across the frontier, a few fishermen, maybe some farmers there, and so there were like some cottages there. And then when they have built the railway, the building of the railway in the Costa Brava was done by this big company, big business. And when they have built the railway there, they made photos. There's this old photo album from the 19th century, from the year 870, and you can see the hill where Revi was found hanged, and on that hill you see these strange things, like it looks like could be some ancient grave or some stone structure, made of white stone. And there was like this statue. I guess it's made of some black rock. I don't think it's metal or bronze, could be, but anyway, like this is just 10 meters from where later would grow this pine tree where Evi was found hanged. And then it's these people there, it doesn't seem to me like why would these people be interested in these structures? Why would they care? And then came the railway. They bought almost all of the land and built the railway station and other buildings. The company wanted to keep people there, whether it was the company or the state. They wanted to people who were working on the railway and people who were working on the frontier with France to stay there. So the company built the cathedral of Portbou, and they also built the cemetery, you know. And so they built the cemetery on the one side of the hill. On the other side of hill, where is now this where this pine tree where Eva was found hanged, and other pine trees, there are these structures. They didn't touch these structures. Very strange, you know. Is for me it's unusual that like people building the cemetery, building some buildings there in Portbou, wouldn't use the structure that was not like protected. It was not like some kind of monument. They wouldn't break it down and use it to build whatever they needed there. And it's strange that, you know, the these historians came there and like inspected anything about these things. These things like they don't exist, you know. Like, so what? It's very strange that this is kept secret, you know. Who kept it secret? That the, you know, it's you cannot find on the internet nothing about it, you know. Big structures. Then there is this like what I call the Stonehenge. It's like 50 meters far from the pine tree where Evie was found, like this big circle. Of course, from the distance it looks kind of, it's kind of strange that it's like a circular, but could be like piece of the mountain, just the mountain forming that way. But when you look at it carefully, you see like it's kind of some kind of structures, you know. Like even when I found the structures that are near the place where Evie was found, these satanic statues and structures, I thought, you know, maybe this circle that's nearby, could be some, you know, people, whatever, like it's kind of a steep, very very steep, the hill going down, but maybe they've built something, some, I don't know, they use it for something, you know, like they made some walls inside of that. And but if you look at it, you can look at it on Google Earth, it's not, it looks like some monuments. It's just this star-shaped stuff, you know, very very strange, very strange. And you know, like nobody talks about it. This is what is suspicious about whole of the case, you know. Just the people giving testimony, everything being so unclear about the case of Evie Rauter, you know. Nobody talking about the Austrian campers, nobody knew them, who found the girl hanging. It was like some lady walking the dog, then it was some lady from the balcony, then it was somebody else. And you know, when the police came, then these reporters came, made photos, and was the police there who put the blanket, you know, over the girl's head, who took it away, you know. And all that stuff is, they're just making stuff up, you know, manipulating the public, lying about this. And it's you know, I don't understand. Like, look, it's they said that the campers, it's always neighbors. Neighbor said this, neighbor said that, and but there is no name. You know, somebody coming and just saying it. Where is the video of that? You know, are these people? I'm making video. Why these people don't show their face? You know, like just talk about what happened. You know, it's no, this neighbor said that, this neighbor said this, and it's always something cloudy. You know, and if you watch like the reporters of Portbou, one thing they write, then when in the first episode of the crimes they say one story and another story, all very fishy, you know. I don't believe a word of what they're saying, and they never mentioned nobody of them. I mean, okay, you have the Ramon Iglesias and Carles Cerrijo, two reporters, and they appeared so many times in the crimes and in the media. did you hear anything about them saying that the place where Eva was hanged, there's some ancient statues there? If you ask them, you know what they tell you? There's nothing there. They will tell you that there is nothing there. There's not like this big statue that looks like a dinosaur. It's like 15 meters away from, is behind this gas reservoir, more towards the building. And then Carmina Cole, you know, her testimony that was supposedly, you know, the Guardia Civil told her to shut up and get in. She's also not talking anything about how strange is this place where she was hanged. They just mentioned, yeah, it's near cemetery. That's kind of weird, but they don't talk about the place where, you know, like, I mean, Carmina Cole, her back balcony on the other side is, she could see all of that stuff. And she never mentioned that. If you ask these people, they will tell you it's some kind of just rocks naturally forming there, or there are the shades of the trees, and it's just some kind of illusion when you're looking at this photo. And from that you can only see that they are trying to hide something. They're trying to hide something. All of them, you know, like there's a big group of people that are trying to hide that, and there's no one now of 1,000 people living in this village who will tell you something about it. You know, it's a small village, 1,000 people, small place, everybody talking, gossiping and things, and they know every square inch of that place. And ask them about what is there on that hill. What's there on that hill? These old statues. You can just watch. You go and look for the old postcards of Portbou. There are many, and you can even order one, buy them like €5 a piece. They'll be shipped to you. You know, old postcards of Portbou, used one, of course. But you can zoom in on the postcards and see all what I'm talking about. And I don't really understand. Like I told you, you know, it's kind of strange how somebody protected these statues, these things, how nobody used the stones or whatever, you know, like many of the like old Roman Imperium structures or medieval castles. Or people, if it was not protected by the historians, somebody, by the authorities, people would just take it, you know, the stones and from the old buildings, and they would like destroy it, you know, basically, because they were building some, they would take this already formed, you know, cutted pieces of stones, but nobody messed with these structures. And then it's when the Catholic cemetery was built there, where first 50 years of the cemetery, there could only the Catholics could be buried there. You know, like the Catholics tolerating some satanic, paganic statues just like 10 meters below the chapel of Holy Christ, Capella de San Cristo. That's there. You know, it's 10 meters from the chapel, a little bit away from the building. Down there is this big black statue, looks like the Satan, like a satanic, or this Moloch or something, you know. And nobody bothered to like ask what is he doing here, you know, so close to the chapel, you know, and not destroy it or whatever, like, or fence it, you know. So you know where I'm heading with this. I firmly believe that there was and still is some kind of satanic or pagan cult, and that they are following this tradition, something connected with that structure there, and that was their place to perform the ritual. And because the Evi was hanged on the night with full moon in September, the same month that they were going to celebrate opening ceremony of building the monument for Walter Benjamin. So this happened 50 years ago. Walter Benjamin died on 22nd September in 1940, or he was murdered, but his body also is kind of, they don't know. I wouldn't say that it disappeared, but you know, there where you have like the gravestone of Walter Benjamin, he's not there. He could be probably put in the niche and then also thrown into the mass grave, but that was like a that was the routine there, really. Like, if you put the body in the niche, then after a few years you take him out. But it's strange that the person who was of Jewish tradition, but could be some other, because he was a philosopher, so could be some other conviction, but he was not a Catholic, and they buried him into the Catholic cemetery, or whatever they did with his body is kind of also to be questioned, you know. But anyway, on the 50th anniversary of death of Walter Benjamin, in the same month that they are going to, on that place, build the monument, they probably wanted to celebrate, to make like some gesture, to make the satanic pagan ritual. So they've already planned it in advance to kidnap Evi Rauter and brought her there and hang her. And the Austrian campers were probably there. They said they were like 3 or more times that summer in Portbou, and they were probably going there very frequently, because the people from the cult, I suppose, this is just my very, very loose assumption, but looking at the circumstances, you know, they would probably make some like a drug deal, you know, making them the offer for the Austrians to buy some amount of whatever is marijuana, hashish, or some other drug, probably this light drug that people use there, you know, the other campers, hippies that were around. And the Austrian camping group was frequently, you know, traveling here and there, and they had to make sure that they would come that night to that place. So they probably like, they were picked because of their nationality and the age, which would be the same as Evi Rauter. So, you know, you still have this, most people believing that the campers are people who killed Evi Rauter, and I myself have fallen into that trap, you know, because it's just what I explained in many videos. It's logical to assume it was them, you know. If you are certain that it was murder, which I was, and I found the evidence on the tree and circumstantial evidence, everything, and then they were there, and they came that night, and she appeared that night, and all of that. But you know, it would take someone really extremely skillful to do all that in the night at that pine tree, you know. It would be very, very difficult task to do, you know. Like, the campers group are not like commandos, and probably not like the youth that were trained by the secret service, you know, to to pull that kind of feat. It's very improbable. I always thought they must have used lamps, they must have used some stairs, maybe other tools, they were coming to Portbou, they probably prepared everything and stuff. And the thing is the neighbors from that building that said that the Austrians were habitually there. They used to hang out at that place. That's what the neighbors said. But nobody of the neighbors came to front the camera and actually explain it. So I believe the neighbors. And I shouldn't have believed the neighbors. The case was very fishy from the beginning. I also suspect that this cult from Portbou, when the case was almost forgotten, it has passed 30 years. It came 30 years in 2020, in September 2020. The case was forgotten, and then they came to the brilliant idea, why don't they make it more public? So they were the ones who probably talked the Carles Porter into it, to making the case so great, because I don't think the people involved would be so willing to participate in the creation of the crime series of Noia de Portbou. They were very willing to do that. And they talked about how Portbou is this, it was like that, and in the 1990 was like this and was like that. All this, talking about Portbou, but with the case they never bothered to tell you, that about the statues and the structures there, very close where the Abbey was found, and of course they knew that it's there. Well, what do you think? That's the first time they went up that stairs on that hill in their life, or what? They lived their whole life in Portbou. So there you have it, I hope that the Austrian camping group would understand that it's if they move some light drugs in that era, it's not something to concern themselves too much now. If they could just get in front of the camera or whatever, give some declarations, talk about what they saw, how it all went, But I don't know, maybe they are threatened by this cult of Portbou, that they will reveal some information about them. Maybe they make them pass through Florence, meet someone there on that day or something. I think they were very clever, the group of Portbou, to organize that. I don't think they would leave that to to leave some eventuality that it would backfire to them. So there you have it. If you don't believe me, if you think that that my theory is crazy, just analyze what I've just said, investigate it as though you think it's true, and see if it makes sense to you. The campers. So the disappearance of the kidnapping of Rauter, her disappearance in Italy, her being hanged there in a ritual murder, and then her body being stolen. This is not. It's all one. It's all one big event. So, and the campers for sure didn't stole the Evis body, you know. And then of course, if you can imagine who had the documents, who knew that who she was. They probably knew who she was and where she's from months before they kidnapped her. Okay, keep investigating, people, keep thinking about it. Don't take my word for it, investigate it yourself. I have given you direction, and see you in the next video.